welcome back to another Warhammer painting tutorial. In today's video, we are going to be doing the brand new Games Workshop model, the Void Dragon. So go ahead and grab your paint and your brushes, and let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is to paint the model entirely black. With the black now dried, it is time to move on to the silver parts, and the color you will need is Leadbelcher, and you will need your medium base brush, a little bit of water, and the application for this one, you're going to apply this to all the skin areas. So that'll be the chest, arms, legs. With that base coat of Leadbelcher now dried, it is time to add another layer, and the color you will need is Ironbreaker. And you will need your medium base brush again, and the application is quite the same. You're going to take this and go over all the silver areas you've just completed. Now that the layer of Ironbreaker is now dried, it is time to move on to some technical details. And the color you will need is Soulstone Blue. And you will need your detail brush, because for this part, it's going to be very tiny all the way across the model. So you want to get about this much like so. And you're going to go in between all of the muscles on the model. Down the center there. That. Then under here, you're gonna go underneath the pec, like that. Just getting into the deepest recesses of the muscle on all of the silver. And you don't have to be neat with this, for we'll fix it in the next step. With that technical color of Soulstone Blue, it is time to add another layer. And the color you'll need is Runefang Steel. And you will need your detail brush. And the application for this one is going to be simple. You're going to go over all the silver areas, but you're going to clean up where the blue came out of the recesses. Like so. So down here on the the thigh, you want to get it just close enough to the dark blue line beneath. With that layer of Runefang Steel now dried, you can see that it's brought out a lot of definition in the muscle of the model. Now it is time to move on to the channeled warp energy. And the color you will need is Celestia Gray. And you'll need your medium base brush, because you want to be kind of careful as to not get any of this on the silver parts you have completed. Now once you have a little bit of this on your brush, you're just going to start from the bottom. You're going to start applying this to all of the lightning areas. So like this part. And do note that there is lightning up on the top here and in the center of the mask. Sorry, the helm. And then another part you want to do is you want to do the entire staff in this color. Now that base coat of Celestia Gray is now dried, it is time to add another layer to it. And the color you will need is Yorthe Gray. And you will need your small base brush again. And the application is going to be one and the same. You're going to go over all the white parts you have just completed. With that layer of Urthane Gray now dried, it's time to add another technical color. And the color you will need is Nailac Oxide. And you will need your medium shade brush. And the application for this one is simple. On all the lightning parts, you're going to apply this. Like so. But when you get to the weapon, his beautiful staff, you're not going to color the entire thing. You're going to go from about here and all the way up to the hand and just a little ways past it. You don't want to do the entire weapon because it won't give it the right lightning effect. Like so. Now that technical color of Nailac Oxide is dried, it is time to start some dry brushing, and the color you will need is White Scar. You will need your dry brush, and you will need a tissue or a napkin. You're going to get a little bit of this on your brush, and you're going to start working it in amongst all the bristles until it looks something like this. And you're going to take your model, and you're going to go over all the raised areas of all the lightning that you have just completed. With that dry brush of White Scar dried, it is time to move on to the wings, and the color you will need is Stegodon Scale Green. And you will need your small base brush. You won't need too much of this. And the areas you are going to do is inside the helm here. Lightly brush there. And then on the outside of the inner piece. Those two. And then the next part you want to do is on the big pair of wings. You'll see that there's this inner bit here before the metal bracing on the outside. This is the part you want to do. With that base coat of Stegodon Scale Green now dried, it is time to add another base color, and the color you will need is Retributor Armor. You will need your detail brush. For this step, the details, you want to be as careful as possible. So you're going to get a little bit on here, and then on the center, on the mask, just this section here, you're going to go over the rest of the mask, but avoiding the blue at all costs. With that base coat of Retributor Armor now done, it is time to move on to the wings. We will be returning to the blue and the gold in a couple of steps, but for now, the color you will need is Leadbelcher, and you'll need your small base brush. And the parts you're going to want to do is the tail all the way down, and then you want to do the little robot on the back. Don't forget to get his forelimbs right there that are holding on to him. And then you want to do the wings all the way up, but you want to avoid the blue areas. With that base coat of Leadbelcher now dried, it is time to go on to some of the shading, and the color you will need is Reikland Flesh Shade. And you will need your small shade brush. And this will be for all the gold areas on the model. The next shade we will be applying is Newland Oil, and you will need your medium shade brush, and the places you are going to paint this on is the silver on the tail, the little robot, and the wings. And when you're applying this, make sure to not have as much on your brush so that it doesn't drip all the way to the bottom. With that shade of Newland Oil now dried, it is time to add another layer to the gold. And the color you will need is Auroric Armor Gold. And you will need your detail brush. You won't need too much. And the application for this one is you're going to put this in all the areas where the shade has settled the least. Now with that layer of Auric Gold armor dried, it is time to add a highlight. And the color you will need is Necron Compound. And you will need your dry brush. And you're just going to get a little bit of this on there, like so. Then you will take your napkin or your tissue, doesn't matter. Then you're going to work it in amongst all the bristles until it looks something like that. And for this step, you're going to go over the gold and the silver on the wings and the tail, and a little droid at the back. With that dry brush of Necron Compound now done, it is time to move on to the black stones. And the color you will need is Abaddon Black. And you will need your medium base brush. And the application for this one is quite simple. All the flying stones that are in the center of the lightning, all strung out through here, you're going to go over those with black. With the base coat of black now dried, it's time to move on to the final step, and the color you will need is Moot Green. You also need your dry brush and a tissue or a napkin. So you should get about this much on your brush. Take your tissue or napkin, work in amongst all the bristles, where it should look like this. Then you're going to go to the black stones, and you're going to want to apply this very heavily to get this just right. Now that that dry brush of Moot Green is completed, it is time to move on to the final detail on the model. And the color you will need is Naggaroth Night. And you'll need your detail brush. And for this part, you are going to be painting, if you've done this modification to your model, the crystal. With that base coat of Naggaroth Night now completed, it is time to go on to the final detail. And the color you will need is Pink Horror. And you will need your dry brush this time, a piece of tissue or napkin, doesn't matter. So take it about that much and work it in amongst all the bristles. You want as little paint as possible, very little. And you're going to take this and you're going to go over the crystal. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a completely painted Lightning Caster Void Dragon Catan Shard. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you wish to see other paint schemes or other models from different armies, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Sean Doomscythe. Enjoy!